Week 11 of the National Football League and NFL Primetime, and the league is heating up. Two teams looking to rebound. The G-Men and the Birds battle to the end of the Meadowlands. Vic and company in trouble in Atlanta. How the Falcons were backed up early by the Bucs. The Chicago defense bearing down on DeLome and the Panthers in a battle of red-hot teams. Undefeated and unchallenged, can the Colts survive a shootout in Cincy? And the defending champs try to do something they haven't done all season, a winning streak. All that and more next on NFL Primetime.
NFL Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to Week 11 of NFL Primetime. Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson. Maybe we be among the first to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving coming up. And, the barn burner. A lot of games, mano-a-mano of the better teams in football today. It was a good day to get a gauge on a lot of the top teams.
Yeah, I think Week 11, we started to figure out who those top three teams in the AFC, top three teams in the NFC. I think we start figuring out who they are now.
We start to figure that out as well. And one team that had been at the top of everybody, the New England Patriots, and before we even get started, our condolences to Bill Belichick and family, as his dad, Steve Belichick, an assistant at Navy for so long, and Bill's inspiration in so many ways, had passed away last night at the age of 86. So Belichick coaching with a heavy heart. Meanwhile, he had a job to do, so did his Patriots. That's Mike Vrabel. You've seen him in the end zone so many times. And there's a touchdown from Brady to Vrabel as they lead the Saints 14-0. Andre Davis, 60-yard touchdown, and this shouldn't happen. It's a dunk, but wait a minute. The bar is tilted? I mean, this isn't exactly...
You'd think it would be a little bit more stable than that.
This isn't Darryl Dawkins up there with the slam, is it? At any rate, here come the Saints. Aaron Brooks is quad down 24-7. That's Dante Stowworth catching to make it 24-14. Then a field goal 24-17. New Orleans has a chance. Brooks. Joe Horn. Over the middle, 23-yard pass. The Saints doing this without timeouts. Brooks takes off. And scrambling inside the 25. Whoop! We got a spike. A chick, 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 chick. Okay, so the Saints now gear up. 15 seconds to go, down a touchdown. Brooks to Stallworth. They booked up for 2 TDs. That's close, but it's just too deep. Double coverage. And so now the Saints, 9 seconds left, have one chance left. And the depleted secondary of New England is not depleted here. Eugene Wilson on the double coverage makes the pick. And the Patriots playing as their coach with a heavy heart. The Patriots do something. What haven't they done all year? This is a team that won 21 straight not so long ago. They've won 2 in a row for the first time all season as they beat the Saints 24-17. And so the Patriots, they're now up to 6-4. And Tommy, we said this a week ago, and I don't want to make it sound like they're in the cruiserweight division. I don't mean, look, if you get in the playoffs, that's all they want to do, then you've got the chance. New England's not going to have the best record. They're not going to have the second best record, but yet, after winning 3 out of 4 Super Bowls, they're saying, you know what, give us a break in a year where we're hurt a lot, and they've got a break because looks like they got clear sailing, don't they?
You take a look at the rest of the teams in the division, and you take a look at the problems they have, and clearly if you think, and it certainly seems as if New England will win the division, then they will end up being the 4th seed. They'll end up playing a game at home in the playoffs, and I think that you talk about anybody in this league. They've won 3 of those 4 championships. Who wants to go to New England in January and play them in a playoff game? And I think the other thing they benefit from is that they clearly will have played with this defensive backfield,
depleted.
5th, 6th guy depleted.
Right.
Now we're going to know what we're able to do. I think that Corey Dillon gets a chance to get a little bit healthier when you get to the playoffs. Maybe you've got more balance offensively, and they certainly will have championship mentality on their side.
The Pats again, won 2 in a row. They beat the Saints today. When we return on NFL Primetime, the Bucs and Falcons. This quite a heated rivalry in the NFC South. About the most competitive division there is. The Philadelphia Eagles, with everything going on, trying to win a key game with their backup QB in New York.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. On your next beer run, grab some great-tasting, less-filling Miller Lite. Miller, good call. And in part by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. With Visa, you're protected. And K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
Back in NFL Primetime, the Baltimore Ravens at home against Pittsburgh. They played them to a one-pointer on Monday night. Pittsburgh's won 11 in a row on the road. How about Randy Himes and the catches he made today? Who? Well, it's Kyle Bollard or Randy Himes. That's it. We're going to get Himes. It's 10-3 Ravens. Fourth quarter, Pittsburgh down 13-6. Remember, they're starting Tommy Maddox. Roethlisberger out one more week. Screen pass to Willie Parker, and he's speedy back, waits for the blocks, makes a nice shift, Tom, for the touchdown to tie the game.
Something he didn't have earlier in this year, patience with the football.
So now 2nd and 9, Pittsburgh with a minute to go, and whoop! Ball up in the air, and it's picked up by Terrell Suggs. Deion Sanders covering Hines Ward, and a freak play off of Hines' foot.
Yeah, he catches, he throws, he also kicks the football right there.
Yeah, but that's not what he wanted.
Good play by Suggs right there to get it, tuck it under, then hit the ground. Good pick, Ravens ball.
Bad news for Hines Ward. Good hang time on that punt. We go to overtime. 9 minutes to go in OT. The game throwing out of the Raven crest. But he's not Anthony Weaver. It's Tommy Maddox. He was sacked 6 times on a day. I got ahead of myself. That was Bowler by Tyrone Carter. Now we go to overtime. Maddox, he's going to be sacked by Anthony Weaver. Do you get the feeling there's not a lot of offense in this game? I mean, one team sack, another team sack. My bad. Now, 3rd and 10, Ravens in overtime. 7.5 to go. Bowler to Himes. Big play, first down. They move the ball up a little farther. That sets up Matt Stover for a potential game winner. From 44 yards out, the Steelers hoping. The Ravens hoping. And the ball is up and good. The Baltimore Ravens, who had gone 190 minutes without scoring a touchdown, get one today. They get the overtime kick by Stover. The 4-game losing streak gone. So's that 11-game road winning streak, tied for second best in the history of the NFL. That's gone. The Ravens stun the Steelers 16-13. Maddox 0-2 in his starts this year for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and Kyle Bollard today, just enough. You saw the great catches by Randy Hunt, enough to get it done at the quarterback position.
Meanwhile, we go from Baltimore to the franchise's old home in Cleveland. Nick Saban used to be defensive coordinator of the Browns under Bill Belichick. Now he's back as head coach of Miami Browns, and this is Reuben Drones. Wow. He's been in the headlines, but these are football headlines. Watch this now. That's Steve Hyden squaring up against Sam Madison. Hyden skates him down the field, and Drones, wait a minute, what? I make one more move, and then back. Wow, what a run by Reuben Drones. Tom, 166 yards he had on the day, many of them on that play.
Yeah, Reuben Drones, that's one of the great runs we've seen this year.
This is not Drew Rosenhaus. This is Sage Rosenfels at quarterback. The two of them probably would play the position about the same. He started today. The ball is picked off, and next question. Picked off by Matt Stewart.
Yeah, ball thrown up, got tipped, and you see him get drilled right there. Ball up, picked off.
Question.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Zach Thomas runs into Charlie Fry, who played a few series. Zach separated his shoulders. He's a great warrior. He's meant so much in his franchise in winning days, even in losing days. That's a big loss for the Dolphins. Braylon Edwards to say, look, I'm #1 pick. I can help you a little bit more. Throw it to me, and I'll even tip it to myself. That's a catch of a Dilfer pass. And then a little bit later on, Charlie Fry, like we said, played a few series. The rookie from Akron, he zips it to Edwards, who caught 6 for 90. And the Browns going to shut out the Miami Dolphins 22-0. We gave you Drones numbers. They held the Dolphins under 194 yards. Combined, Rosenfels and Farrat, 9 of 28 passing. And here for Romeo Cornell. Cleveland's won as many games this year, Tom, as they did all last year. We're not even at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and we talked about it off camera. Organized football team, the Cleveland Browns. And I thought the same about Nick Saban. This has to be very disappointing, measuring up to another team with a new coach.
All right, and now we go to Jacksonville playing the Tennessee Titans. Jack Del Rio and his squad, they have what seems on paper, except for the Colts, they don't play a team with more than 3 wins for the rest of the year. Pac-Man Jones, he's the rookie, and listen, Tom. Oh, with the move. Oh, Pac-Man in the enemy territory. Pac-Man could go almost a lot of the way. 85-yard return down to the 11 sound effects. Free of charge, Tom Jackson. That sets up Chris Brown. He's in. 14-7 Tennessee. Remember, Tennessee, through the years, has had Jacksonville's numbers, knocked him out of the Super Bowl. Kyle Vandenbosch sacked Byron Leftwich. Bumble! Antoine Odom picks it up. And the youngest team in the league, that's Tennessee, they lead Jacksonville in the third quarter, 21-14. But here come the Titans. Leftwich to Ernest Milford. That's a nice play. We're tied at 21. Then Leftwich steps up, feels it, and that's Matt Jones. Really starting to find his way the last couple of weeks. Leftwich 3 touchdown passes today, 28-21. Steve McNair down 10. They did a hook and lateral to get up the field, and then Roy Dell Williams with a catch, and the Titans have pulled it within 3. Craig Hentrick, well, here's how you know it's a different Titan team. No Music City Miracle on this onside kick. Hentrick disgusted. Leftwich and the Jags hold on to win it. 31-28. Tennessee's lost 5 in a row. Jacksonville is 7-3. And again, except for their game against the Colts, they don't play anybody with more than 3 wins. So, and how about 58 weeks? They don't get 30 points. 2 weeks in a row, they get 30 points.
Yeah, Byron Leftwich, career high 3 touchdown passes in this football game. So he's getting better and better.
So 7-3 the Jags. When we return, big game in Chicago. The Chicago Bears. Nah, they're not that good. Yeah, tell that to the Panthers and Steve Smith, who was brilliant, but it was the Bears who shone on D. So did Tampa Bay for a while.
The Fantasy Ticker, brought to you by Chevy, the new Chevrolets, an American Revolution.
Here we go with the Dallas Cowboys. A thrill a minute with them. Their Monday night late win against Philadelphia. Now they're at home today against Detroit. Julius Jones had a good game. Julius Jones running for 18 yards. Then Marion Barber. So Bill Parcells using both backs. Jones led the Cowboys with 92 yards. They ran for 149 total. And then it's 7-0. This is Billy Cundiff, just re-signed yesterday. And wouldn't you know it, in one day he has a team record field goal, 56 yards, breaking the mark held by 3 others, including Tony Fritsch. There's a name you might remember. Marion Barber, up the middle in the 13-7 game, makes it 20-7. Joey Harrington hooking up with Roy Williams a little bit. Remember, there's a battle of Roy Williams, but Greg Ellis hits his arm, ball loose. That ball fumbled. That win on it. And the Cowboys win 20-7. This wasn't thrilling, but look, they have a chance in 11 days. Now they host Denver on Thanksgiving, but the Cowboys, Bill Parcells warned of a trap game. They were ready for Detroit 20-7.
Yeah, and great 1-2 punch in that backfield. Julius Jones at 21 rushes for 92 yards. Barber 15 rushes. You add them all up, you get 35-plus carries. That's what he wants to do, control the clock.
That short week for Dallas will seem better off a win than the short week coming up for Detroit in their Thanksgiving game, but they'll be at home and they'll be ready for the Atlanta Falcons. Speaking of ready, they were ready in the Windy City because a battle of 2 of the hottest teams in football. The Carolina Panthers expected to be good. Picked to the Super Bowl by many. They had won their last 6 games. The Chicago Bears, seemingly coming out of nowhere, have won 5 in a row to grab a 2-game lead in the NFC Norris division. Here's one of our prime cuts because that's a good game, because the Chicago Bears mean business on defense. Ask Jake Daylight come, and you got the Delhomme. Did Nathan Vasher have a nice 8 days, 108 yards last week with the return of the missed field goal? Vasher, what's the matter with him?
This one about 60 yards short of the one he had last week.
And he returns it to the 8-yard line, the second-year pro. And Kyle Orton, there's one drive again. Here he is to former Panther Muhsin Muhammad. And Chicago leads right out of the gates. 3 minutes in, 7-0. Delhomme looking again. Who's he going to find? Vasher. Ball under throw. On Vasher. On Dancer. On Donnan. On Blitzen. It is the season to be happy if you're Nathan Vasher.
80 yards short of the one he had last week.
It set up a Bears field goal. Now they lead another Gould field goal, 13-0. Alex Brown led a ferocious rush. Alex Brown and Adelia Ogunleye led a great rush by the front wall of Chicago. There was a sack. Brown, and even though Steve Smith caught one of this play, 14 for 169, it was the pass rush that held the Panthers in check. Here's Brown again, number 96. Goodbye. Daylight coming. It was time to go home. And then Ogunleye, the one-time Pro Bowler from Miami, that quick pass rushing type that Lovie Smith likes so well. Tommy, they rotate guys in and off of the front line. Brian Urlacher happy. You saw Lovie Smith. The Chicago Bears. The Bears are winners 13-3. They're 7-3. They snap a... meanwhile, Carolina's winning streak is snapped. Vasher with 6 picks on the year. And what have the Bears done as we go inside the numbers? They're 7-3 mark compared to last year when they were 5-11. They'll have 11 points a game.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Their sacks are almost as much as they had all last year, but this is very interesting. Red zone. They've given up 24 times an opponent has gotten in the red zone. They've given up only 4 touchdowns. First things first. I thought I was watching old-time football, Tom.
That's right.
When the Bears had 8 sacks, but not Urlacher, not, a safety blitzing or maybe a rear corner. 8 sacks all by the front wall. That's like fearsome foursome or doomsday defense. You do not see 8 sacks only by the front 4. But they're all so quick, and boy, do they attack the ball.
Yeah, Coach Ditka knows this team as well as any in the league, and he says that the difference with this ball club is the front 4 and the attacking style that they have, and that's what Boom is talking about when he talks about those sacks. And defensively, they are outstanding. Talk about their red zone defense, but I think offensively, they searched and searched for a quarterback. They found one in Kyle Orton. He's not going to win games for you in terms of scoring 28, 30 points a game, but he's being very effective doing what he does. I'm going to throw 15 to 26, 136 yards. The one mistake we can live with, I'm going to make up for that with a touchdown. I'm going to let this defense and the special teams win the football game for us. And now they've got the confidence. Now they believe in what they're doing. They're going to be hard to beat.
And these are the new monsters of the Midway.
Yes.
And they're playing defense the way Lovie Smith learned it under Tony Dungy. And look, this team is for real.
That's right.
When we return on NFL Primetime, some wild games. The Raiders go into Washington where Norv Turner used to coach. Could they pull an upset? And Philadelphia trying to tackle Tiki Barber and the Giants at the Meadowlands.
Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. With Visa, you're protected.
Visa Skycam takes you to Houston. Can the Texans pull the upset on the Kansas City Chiefs? That's our Sunday night game at the bottom of the hour following Brad.
It's time for your chance to win one of 100 Philips HD TVs with DirecTV service for a year. Log on to 100yardblitz.com to enter. The code word is Texas.
Norv Turner was the last coach to lead the Redskins to the playoffs in '99. Some of his players still there. Joe Gibbs had led them many times before he retired for the first time in '92. Kerry Collins is picked off by Lamar Marshall. That good defense of the Skins, which was torched last week by Tampa Bay. Looks like they're back at it, Tom. They lead it 7-0. Then Collins and Randy Moss try to get something going for the Raiders late in the first quarter.
Yeah, we're watching them down here in the red zone. This Kerry Collins on the move and actually throwing. Makes a pretty good throw off his back foot, but Randy Moss gets called for the offensive interference. They reset. Kerry Collins again overthrows. Now that throw he was able to step into, but again, they had the chance to score. They didn't take advantage of it. Randy Moss obviously upset on the side.
They got a field goal at 7-3. Now down 13-3. Early moments the second half. Collins, this he can do. Wow, to Jerry Porter. The long ball is back. 49 yards for... Hey! Then they trail it 13-10. Now fourth quarter. Collins. Watch Sean Taylor lay the lumber. Bang! On Jerry Porter right there. Porter held on to the ball, despite feeling like a porterhouse steak. LeVar Arrington with a big hit. The Raiders on 3rd and 1 at the 3, and that goal line defense forces them to just kick a tying field goal. Now, just before the 2-minute warning, Lamont Jordan, oh, did he fumble? Ball's out. Redskins say they have it just before the 2-minute warning, but ruling a whistle had blown it dead. Joe Gibbs at the 2 straight games in a row. Remember the All-Star play last week. Now, the Skins stopped Jordan on 2nd down. Jack Crockett, what happened? And so now they go for the field goal. Janikowski with a shot from 19 yards is good. And the Raiders lead 16-13. Remember last year for Philadelphia, Derek Burgess was all over Michael Vick. He's a Raider now, and he had 2 sacks of Mark Brunell. It's a fumble! And the Raiders spot the Skins a big lead, but Washington never, puts enough points on the board. This time it haunts him. Norv Turner comes back to defeat the Redskins. He's very classy about it all week. Remember, he was axed by Snyder before the next year. Redskins had 6 flags on the day, and the Raiders beat him 16-13.
Yeah, Kerry Collins, I thought, was pretty outstanding today. And you look at the Mosses on either squad, not the numbers that they're used to putting up.
By the way, the Skins were 3-0. They've lost 5 of 7 to fall at 5-5. The Eagles, have they been in the news or what? The arbitration expected to come down early next week. Meanwhile, Donovan McNabb injured on the play late on Monday night. And who ends up playing for Philadelphia? And it's Mike McMahon. And it's fortunate, as he got drilled by Antonio Pierce, that he wasn't injured. McMahon, a tough customer. Reggie Hodges blocked by David Tyree. So special teams big for the Giants today.
Yes, last week special teams lost in the football game. This week special teams comes back, helps them get a lead.
1st and goal, Philadelphia trying to tough it up, and they stop the rookie Brandon Jacobs. 2nd and goal, it's Jacobs again. He stopped at the 1 line. Then 3rd and goal, it's Jacob, and he stopped at the 1 line. So what could happen? As Tom Coughlin says, let's go. Remember him last week? What the hell's going on out here? Here on 4th, it's play action. Touchdown to well-dressed Amani Toomer. 10-0. G-Man. More happening to the Eagles. The Pro Bowl corner, Lito Shepard, trying to break up a pass to Plexico Burris. First thought to be a broken ankle, later word better. High ankle sprain, but again, how much can the Eagles take? Down 10-0. McMahon to Reggie Brown. Don't count the NFC champs out yet. 10-7. Under 2 minutes ago in the 3rd quarter, McMahon. 2 Rutgers guys teaming up in the Meadowlands. How about that? That's L.J. Smith. But he can't make the grab. They settle for a field goal, 13-10. Giants come back. Eli Manning, Jeremy Shockey. Nice catch, 20-10 Giants. McMahon, undaunted. How does he get loose here? How does he get loose here? McMahon somehow picks up a 1st down.
They talk about the great athlete he is, that he has this running ability, can make some plays on his own.
And it can leap tall buildings with a single bound. Touchdown, Eagles. It's 20-17. Under 6 minutes to go, 3rd and 3. Eli to Plexico Burris. Sheldon Brown can't get him. And Burris could go all the way. It's a touchdown. They're up by 10 again.
Yeah, you saw Sheldon Brown right there with his head in the backfield. We saw the exact same thing on Monday night. Similar pattern, stop, go, what they call double move. You've got to get your head out of the backfield.
And so the Giants regain the form at home. They're 6-1 at home, 7-3 overall. They're 3 up on Philadelphia as they beat him 27-17. Tiki ran for 112 yards for the Giants, who were outgained by almost 100 yards by Philly, who again had 400 yards. Look, Philly played tough on Monday night, 57 minutes, had nothing to show for it. They played tough today without McNabb.
Yeah.
You're not going to bury the champs yet, but look, they haven't lost 4 in a row this century. It was 1999, year 1 for Andy Reid and year 1 for Donovan McNabb. It's a proud bunch, but they've taken so many punches, literally and figuratively, I guess, that it is going to be tough for them to make up ground in this division at this point, and they know that. They're not going to lay it down, but they've got a big hole to climb out of.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult with the way the other teams in the division, the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys, are playing right now, and I think that maybe they will start. I know they're not going to give up until they're mathematically eliminated, but maybe they will have to start planning for next year. The Giants, on the other hand, that three-headed monster offensively, when you start talking about the quarterback position and Eli, when you start talking about Tiki, when you start talking about Plexico, they seem to be a team that's getting better and better, and they're going to be around at the end of this year to make some noise in the playoffs.
And remember, They have that extra home game, that 9 home games.
Right.
They had the lost one at home last week, and for Philadelphia, it just wasn't the way it was drawn up. But they're mentally and physically exhausted. We don't know how many times we can say it. They'll try, but they got a big way to go up on those teams. And meanwhile, in the NFC South, we showed you Carolina already. It's a 3-team race, and they all play each other the last 6-7 weeks of the season. Tampa Bay against Atlanta, one of our prime cuts, a pair of 6-3 teams going in to this game in Atlanta. They play twice to go. Atlanta plays Carolina twice yet. Tampa and Atlanta have another game to go. Michael Vick, his team down 3-0 to the Bucs. He trips and falls on the play in the shadow of his own goalpost. He tripped over Keenan Forney, the guard.
Yeah, but you take a look at the push that the defensive line is getting. Literally pushes his own man right on top of him. He was shaken up.
Matt Schaub in, but the ball stripped by Simeon Rice. Booger McFarland falls on it. Tampa Bay defense doing a job against Atlanta again. There's the play by Rice.
Yeah, Simeon Rice, great sack man, uses speed to the outside, gets the fumble in the end zone. They get a touchdown.
10-0 at Tampa Bay. Now down 13-3. Just after the 2-minute warning, Vick throws to the rookie Roddy White for a 54-yard catch. Behind him makes a nice twirling grab. And the Falcons in business. Can they get on the board before the end of the half? That's T.J. Duckett. He runs it in. 1 yard. It's a 13-10 game. Third quarter now. 3rd and 7 Atlanta. Vick, who would throw for 300 yards today. They only ran for 17, but he threw for 300. That's Brian Finneran. And then the tight end, Algie Crumpler, is right there. And Atlanta, stymied early, is going to score in 5 straight possessions. They lead now 17-13, but this is not the usual for Mike Goodhands at all stop. 20-17 Tampa Bay. Now Vick to White. Vick threw well, Tom.
Yeah, he threw the ball well from the pocket. I think he was conscious of trying to get the ball out of his hands. He does what he does. His team had a chance to win offensively because of the way he played quarterback.
That was Michael Jenkins, and he's looking for Jenkins again on 3rd and 5. All these third down completion, touchdown. And the Falcons lead it 27-20. Now 3rd down Bucs, under 3 minutes to go. Chris Sims to Cadillac Williams. He looked good on this track indoors, Tom. That's a 1st down, and then Cadillac, touchdown. And the Bucs of John Gruden have come from behind to tie it at 27. Cadillac with 116 yards rushing. Fumble! Derek Brooks gets credit with causing it, but it hits Warwick Dunn's helmet.
Warwick Dunn coming to block on blitz protection. He actually knocked the ball away from his quarterback.
Sheldon Quarles recovers in time for Matt Bryant. 45-yard field goal, good. 30-27 Tampa Bay. But Atlanta's got a little bit of time and a timeout. Vick. He gets hit low by Ellis Wims, who had a whim in him to knock him there. Wait a minute, they call roughing the passer. So a little extra bonus there with the flag. Falcons not dead yet. 17 seconds left. Vick, Jenkins, 19 yards. Michael Kanan had that, 58-yarder, remember, against New England? But this 55-yarder, Michael Kanan, blame it on Riho. No good. And the Bucs win it 30-27, a team that looked so bad. All of a sudden, they've scored in the 30s 2 games in a row, and Atlanta has lost 2 home games in a row at the wrong time. They fall behind.
Yeah, disappointing loss for Atlanta, and if you want to make young Chris Sims comfortable, then you just keep looking at the numbers for Cadillac Williams. When he gets over 100 yards, quarterback's going to have a much easier day.
And it's the Bucs who are now, they're 4-2 against Michael Vick. They just seem to have a plan, even though Atlanta rolled up a lot of yards. They had a plan, and they executed it in Tampa Bay, back in business, tied for first place in their division. When we return, Sean Alexander at the 49ers. The Niners playing surprisingly tough at home. And bring your abacus for the Bengals-Colts game.
You are watching NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
Back at NFL Primetime, the Rams at home. Welcome back an old friend, Kurt Warner, playing for Arizona. And look, Marshall got us 2 were great together when they won the Super Bowl, got to another one. Warner, though, now has some young receivers named Anquan Bolden, who caught 8 for 105, tying the game at 10 right there. And you'll see Larry Fitzgerald in a moment. Man, to replace Warner, Mark Bolger. If I only could have a healthy Isaac Bruce. Touchdown, 47 yards, 17 17-16 Rams. But Adrian Wilson, the safety who had a tremendous game, knocks Bolger out, re-aggravates right shoulder. And so Bolger leaves, Martin in. It's a 17-16 Ram lead. And Kurt Warner playing on the field that he experienced so much success on to Adam Bergen. 9 yards, he canvases it into the end zone. 2-point conversion good, 24-17. Then Warner, here's the other youngster, Larry Fitzgerald. Makes the turn, touchdown.
Is there a better duo than Fitzgerald and Bolden in this league?
They're pretty good, 31-20. And it's the man Jamie Martin is hit. And Adrian Wilson recovers the fumble. What kind of game did Wilson have as you see Warner hugging his old mates? Arizona wins at 38-28. This is a safety, Tom. Adrian Wilson, 3 sacks, a forced fumble, the recovered fumble. Hello, Arizona off the losing schneid. And Kurt Warner gets a win. Well, first time this year, right? Threw for 285 yards. The Seahawks are the beast in the NFC West. They're at San Francisco, where our compatriot and Hall of Famer Steve Young, you see the other, many of the other Niner Hall of Famers. Way to go, Steve. They presented him his Hall of Fame ring at halftime. Sean Alexander having a Hall of Fame season. 17 rushing touchdowns already this year. Well, make it 18. 10-3 Seahawks. Ken Dorsey starting for San Francisco. I know they don't have a lot of wins, but Brandon Lloyd makes a catch like this every week. Wow! That leads to what else with the Niners? A Joe Nedney field goal. 10-6. The Dorsey to Lloyd. Oh, man! It's out of bounds, but Tom.
He only needs one hand.
Wow. That leads to another field goal. And then Alexander's ragtime marching band. Look at him down the field. 40-yard run. Who's going to get it at the 1?
Sean Alexander.
Yeah, really? His 19th touchdown. Highest total in NFL history after 10 games, 19 TDs. Maurice Hicks ruled no touchdown on the field. Let's go up and take a look. The ball looked like it was over. Guess what? After review, he wasn't. The Niners need a 2-point conversion to tie. Ken Dorsey. Oh, he had him. He had him. Johnny Morton incomplete. And the Niners give it a shot. You know, Bryant Young got hurt in this game. He was carted off. They played pretty hard for Mike Nolan. But in the end, it's the Seattle Seahawks who won 6 in a row, Tom, 27-25.
And a lot of guys playing great in this league right now at the quarterback position. But you look at Sean Alexander, I think he is your MVP right now if you named it today.
You might get some votes for the quarterback in Indy. But you might. But that's why they play the whole season.
Yeah, that's right, if it isn't today.
When we return, oh, those powder blues for the Lightning Bolts. Manning and company with their hands full at Cincinnati. We'll be back. Andre Johnson, Pro Bowler a year ago, Houston Texans, on Sunday Night Football following us against the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember him in high school? He was All-American as a senior at Miami Senior High School. 31 for 908 and 15 touchdowns his senior year. He returned kickoffs. He was timed 4-4 in the 40 as a senior. Andre Johnson, you'll see them all grown up tonight.
Primetime Flashback, brought to you by NikeGridiron.com.
How good are these? How good was this guy? Lance Allworth is number 19. There's John Hadel and company, but retired after all these years.
I love it. It took a while, though.
It did. But hats off to Dean Spanos, Chargers. Absolutely. They did it right. They had it up at halftime. And in his honor, they wore the powder blues. And Allworth would appreciate the way Drew Brees do today. That's one to Antonio Gates against the Buffalo Bills. Brees to Keenan McCardell in the last minute of the first half. 35-10 Chargers at the end of all those unis, the helmets. Oh, man, it's the greatest uniform in the history of sports. Antonio Gates. But he lands strangely on his ankle and had to leave the game. And that's a big loss because we know what kind of target Gates is. Angelo Crowell's helmet falls right on it. And we'll get word a little bit later on it. The Chargers absolutely destroyed J.P. Lossman and the Bills 48-10. How about 28 of 33 for 339 and 4 touchdowns for Drew Brees. Inspired seeing Hale and Allworth in the
Drew
field.
Brees clicking on all cylinders. And LaDainian Tomlinson, 19 for 67. Brees took up the slack for him.
What's the matter? Tomlinson only had 1 touchdown and they got 48 points. Hey, the Chargers 6-4 look really strong. So do the Broncos. They're at home against the New York Jets. And Mike Shanahan says, you know what, let's just put the hammer down early. And that would be Mike Anderson, who had 3 rushing touchdowns, 7-0 Broncos. Brooks Bollinger, Suave Bollinger, started for the Jets. He left with a head injury. And that would bring in Vinny Testaverde. He's been hurt. He's been out for a few weeks. Vinny looked rusty, fumbled the snap, picked off by the veteran John Lynch, picked off by Champ Bailey.
Protection of the football.
Vinny goes down untouched. He has a right foot injury, so now what? Can't go to Namath, can't go to Al Woodall. You got to go to Cliff Kingsbury. And, yeah, baby, Michael Myers bats it down at the line. Chad Pennington, if only I could. Jay Fiedler, maybe in a few weeks. Got real bad for the Jets. 27-0 the Broncos remain undefeated at home. The Denver Broncos. And what, once again, no picks for Plummer, huh? It's been, what, 7-8 weeks?
No mistake, Jake.
No mistake, Jake, as the Broncos up their mark at home to a perfect 6-0. Beating the Jets 27-0. Okay, so enough of this shutout stuff. You want to see some offense? The Indianapolis Colts, they can do that. They went 9-0 into Cincinnati, down the road just 100 miles, and the Bengals said, wait a minute, we can score right with you. We saw the powder blue uniforms. This was one of our prime cut shades of the old AFL, the way the Colts and the Bengals teed it up. Tony Dungy and the Colts. Well, you knew what kind of game very early they'd be in, as Dominic Rhodes, opening drive, gets it in. 6 yards, touchdown, 7-0 Colts. 7-3, so the Bengals answer with a field goal. The Colts answer with a touchdown. Reggie Wayne out of the Batcave. Stately Wayne Manor. Touchdown, 66 yards, 14-3 Indianapolis. But, here's Carson to Chad Johnson. And you think he's having fun? Wait a minute, I got a plan.
Chad is fun.
I can't hear you. Young lady, would you please? Please. Of course. And it's now 14-10. He's entertained. All right, he's entertained. It's a hell of a receiver, I'll tell you that. 14-10 the Colts. Boy, why don't we answer with a touchdown? Brian Fletcher. Not Fletcher Christian, but Brian Fletcher. 21-10. Bengals answer 21-17. Why don't we answer with a touchdown? Dallas Clark. 56 yards down to the Bengals' 6-yard line, which sets up on their 4th possession. Edgerrin James, 4th Colt touchdown, 28-17 Indianapolis. This is odd that they would lose 3 on a screen, but historic because Marvin Harrison, the 6th NFL player to catch 900 balls or more. Congrats. Same drive. Manning, why don't we score a touchdown? 5 possessions in the first half, 5 Colt touchdowns, 35-17. But not everything can go perfectly. Kewan Ratliff with the score 35-20, and just before the end of the half, wait a minute, Cincinnati, who was the best in the turnover margin in football, puts the team in business.
One of the best as well in the last 2 minutes of a half, something that we both appreciate.
Yes, we do, and so does Rudy Johnson. It looked like he was, but now he's in. Tripped up, then he slides in, 35-27. How about that for a halftime score? You can just hear the pinball wizard. 62 first half points, second most all time in a half in NFL history. Here come the Bengals. Palmer to Chad Johnson. You can't propose in the middle of the field. First down Bengals. 3rd and 9 Cincy. Palmer. Chris Henry. He's in. Touchdown. They go for the extra point. Get it 35-34. Colts say, well, maybe we need a touchdown. Edgerrin James. Nice cutback. 12 yards. On 4th and 1, they went for it, Tom.
Yeah, and they realized that they were in a shootout going for it on fourth down in the third quarter, middle of the third quarter. They were going to get it with James, 7 people in the box.
And 3rd and 1, another first down by James, and then he's done all the work. How about this? Touchdown, 42-34. The Colts go up. James had 89 yards. But Cincinnati not done. Carson Palmer to the number one pick a year ago, Chris Perry. This leads to a field goal, so they make it a one-possession game, 45-37, down 8. You know what's coming. Reggie Wayne, part of the good hands team for Indianapolis, falls on the ball, and the Indianapolis Colts are now 10-0 in a shootout. Boy, in September, what's wrong with that Colts offense? Please, don't ask such stupid questions. The Colts win 45-37, and now the Indianapolis Colts are the 9th team since the merger to go 10-0. 6 of the previous 8 got to the Super Bowl. 5 of the previous 8 won the Super Bowl. Boy, they had a bad August. They were 0-5. I don't remember.
We can throw that out.
This was fun to watch, wasn't it, Tom? I mean, it was like one of those AFL games.
And I think something good to take away for both teams. Obviously, the Colts stay undefeated, and I think the real strength of that team is that they can play any kind of game you want to play right now. They come up against a high-powered offense like the Bengals. They can play that kind of game. They come up in a good defensive battle. I think they can play that kind of game as well. And for the Bengals, yes, you didn't beat them, but this was the coming-out party for me for Carson Palmer. You can see offensively that I think they're about where the Colts were a year or 2 ago. Build up your defense. You're going to be right there. But this is a team headed in the right direction. They're going to be in the playoffs, and maybe they're going to make some noise in the playoffs. Who knows? If you come out offensively and you can't play with that football team, you're going to find yourself getting beat.
But you know what? The Indianapolis Colts, now they've shown you that we knew they could beat you this way. We're going to get up on you. We're not going to let you tie us. So the Bengals are 1 point behind. And they can win the other way. They're versatile in how they win. That's why they're 10-0. Next up for the Colts, Monday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers with Roethlisberger probably back. I'm going to have to go watch that myself.
Go do it.
Well, the Colts, 10-0. When we return, game balls. Yeah, there were plenty in that game, but there were plenty around the league. Interesting week 11.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. On your next beer run, grab some great-tasting, less-filling Miller Lite. Miller, good call. And in part by Chevrolet, an American Revolution. And Jordan, be more. Primetime Performers, brought to you by Circuit City. For the hottest new technology, think Circuit City. Just what I needed.
Boomer, my game ball, and he's got probably a lot of game balls, goes to Peyton Manning. You look at the numbers, 24-40, 365, 3 touchdowns. They stay at the big number that he cares about, 10-0.
My game ball is going to go the other side of the ball. We talked about it earlier. Ogunleye and company, 8 sacks for Chicago in their showdown game with Carolina, all by the defensive line. I mean, this is truly the new monsters of the Midway. Just feels good to say that. So the Bears' defensive front gets our game, and the Colts are 10-0.
10-0.
Thanksgiving. Wow.
It's interesting now.
Wow. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Enjoy the week. For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. From all of us here at ESPN, happy holidays.